Some people grow old and slow down. But INFJs grow old and grow deeper. Time doesn't wear out the INFJ mind, it sharpens it. It adds layers, insights, and emotional depth that few others can match. That's why the INFJ mind is often called ageless. Not because it stays the same, but because it keeps evolving in powerful ways. INFJs are rare. They already see the world differently than most people. But what sets them apart even more is how their mind develops over time. Instead of fading, their abilities, like intuition, empathy, and insight, get stronger. As they go through life, each experience adds more to their inner world. More clarity, more understanding, more wisdom. This is not about staying young. It's not about ignoring the passage of time. It's about the kind of growth that happens on the inside. A quiet kind of wisdom that doesn't scream for attention, but becomes more powerful the older it gets. There's a reason INFJs often feel more confident and clear-minded in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond than they did in their youth. Their mind was always strong. It just needed time to reveal itself. They don't rush to find answers. They wait. They reflect. And with each year, their insight sharpens. In this video, we'll explore 6 reasons why the INFJ mind is truly ageless, why time can't dull it, and why, if anything, it becomes more of a force with every passing year. If you've ever felt like you're becoming more you as time goes on, or that your mind is deepening instead of slowing down, you'll understand exactly what this means. Let's begin with the first reason, the one that fuels everything else. Reason number 1, constant pattern recognition and deepening intuition. INFJs are driven by their intuition. It's the core of how they understand the world. They don't rely only on what they see or hear. Instead, they pull meaning from patterns, feelings, and connections that others miss. And the amazing thing, this ability doesn't weaken with time. It deepens. That's because the INFJ's main function, introverted intuition, or NI, gets sharper with age. It's like a muscle that gets stronger the more you use it. With every experience, every conversation, and every life change, the INFJ's mind stores more patterns. It learns how people act, how emotions shift, how events unfold. Over time, their mind becomes a deep well of data, not in facts, but in insight. Young INFJs often feel confused by their gut feelings. They know something is off, or that something is coming, but they can't explain it. That's because their intuition hasn't fully developed. They sense things, but they don't yet trust themselves. As they age, though, that changes. They start to notice their gut is often right. They start listening more closely. They start believing in their own inner guidance. By midlife and beyond, this inner knowing becomes a powerful force. INFJs don't just guess, they see. They predict. They notice things others dismiss. They can walk into a situation and know the outcome before it even begins. Not through magic. Through years of watching, feeling, and connecting dots others don't even see. This power can't be rushed. It's built over time. Each experience adds another piece to the puzzle. INFJs become masters of understanding the why behind behavior. They don't just see what someone is doing, they understand the story underneath it. And the best part? This doesn't go away with age. In fact, many INFJs say they feel more clear-headed in their 50s than in their 20s. That's because life has helped filter out the noise. The intuition becomes cleaner, faster, and more trusted. This makes older INFJs powerful mentors, therapists, leaders, or simply wise friends. They don't need to prove themselves. Their insight speaks for itself. And the more they trust it, the more accurate it becomes. Time may change their body. It may change their daily habits. But it never dulls their vision. It makes it sharper. INFJs don't just age, they evolve. And their intuition evolves right with them. Reason number 2, expanded emotional empathy. With age, INFJs are emotional by nature, but not in a chaotic way. Their emotions are layered, thoughtful, and often hidden beneath the surface. One of their greatest strengths is emotional empathy, the ability to feel what others are feeling, to understand emotions without needing words. And just like their intuition, this power grows stronger with time. When they're young, INFJs often feel overwhelmed by emotions, both their own and other people's. They pick up on sadness, fear, anger or joy and absorb it. Sometimes it's too much. They don't know how to filter or protect themselves. They might retreat or shut down to avoid being overwhelmed. But as they grow older, something changes. They start to understand their own feelings better. They learn what belongs to them and what belongs to someone else. They learn how to stay open without losing themselves in the process. This emotional clarity opens the door to deeper empathy. With time, INFJs don't just feel, they understand. They see the reasons behind people's emotions. They become more patient, more accepting. Instead of reacting, they respond. Instead of absorbing everything, they process it. Their emotional radar becomes more refined. A younger INFJ might feel sadness but not know why. An older INFJ will recognize the sadness, trace its source, and respond with quiet compassion. This makes them excellent listeners, wise counselors, and trusted friends. Age also brings a wider view of life. INFJs have lived through heartache, joy, loss, and change. They don't just imagine what someone's going through, they've often been there. That lived experience makes their empathy even more real, even more steady. This emotional strength doesn't fade. It becomes one of the most timeless parts of who they are. While others may become hardened or distant with age, INFJs often become softer, more understanding, more accepting of human emotion in all its forms. Their emotional empathy becomes a kind of quiet wisdom. They know what to say, when to say nothing, and when just being present is enough. And the older they get, the more natural this becomes. Not forced. Not planned. Just part of who they are. This is why the INFJ's mind can't be touched by time. Because their emotional insight only gets deeper, and that depth is something no age can erase. Reason number 3, strengthened alignment of values and insights. When INFJs are young, they often feel like they're being pulled in different directions. They sense the world deeply, think about life's big questions, and carry strong internal values. But it takes time for those values and insights to line up. In youth, there's often confusion. They know what matters to them, but they don't always know how to live by it. As they age, that starts to change. Life teaches them what feels real and what doesn't. They make mistakes, learn from them, and slowly begin to live in a way that reflects their inner truth. Their outer life starts to match their inner life. That's when real alignment begins. This alignment is powerful. It's the point where INFJs stop chasing approval and start following purpose. They become more selective. They stop saying yes to things that drain them. They stop hiding their opinions just to keep peace. They begin to trust that their path, even if it's different, is still valid. Over time, they also learn how to use their insights more effectively. In the past, they may have kept their thoughts to themselves. Now they speak with purpose. Their ideas have weight, not because they're loud, but because they're grounded in something real, values tested by time. This combination of clear values and focused insight gives INFJs a quiet confidence. They no longer need to explain themselves. They know what matters to them, and they act on it. Their decisions become cleaner. Their relationships become deeper. Their work becomes more meaningful. They stop wasting time on what doesn't feel right. They know the cost of ignoring their intuition, and they're no longer willing to pay it. That clarity, allows them to move through life with a sense of calm. Not because everything is easy, but because their inner world is finally aligned with their actions. This is one of the most powerful forms of growth an INFJ can experience. And it usually happens later in life. Time gives them the space to see what really matters. And once they see it, they don't go back. They move forward with clarity, strength, and purpose. Reason number 4, matured ability to harness shadow and inferior functions. Every personality type has weak spots, parts of the mind that don't come naturally. For INFJs, those parts are extroverted sensing C and introverted thinking T. In younger years, these parts often show up in confusing or chaotic ways. But with age, INFJs start to understand them and even use them to their advantage. When they're young, INFJs are often overwhelmed by sensory input. Loud places, bright lights, fast movement, it all feels too much. This is their weak C function reacting. At the same time, they might overthink or become rigid when stressed. That's their underdeveloped I coming out. These responses can make INFJs feel like they're losing control. In stressful moments, they might act impulsively or try to force logic into emotional situations. This doesn't feel natural to them. It's exhausting, and it makes them question their strengths. But something changes with time. Older INFJs begin to notice these patterns. They learn to spot the signs of a stress spiral. Instead of getting caught in it, they pause. They reflect. They understand that these reactions are temporary and not who they really are. This awareness allows them to manage their shadow side. They don't fight it. They don't ignore it. They work with it. They use their sensing function to stay present, to enjoy the moment, to respond calmly. They use their thinking side to organize their thoughts, make smart plans, and support their intuition with clarity. Over time, these once weak parts become tools. They aren't the INFJ's main strengths, but they add balance. They help the INFJ stay grounded and clear. They support the deeper, intuitive parts of their mind instead of blocking them. This balance is one reason INFJs become more powerful with age. They're not ruled by their emotions or overwhelmed by their reactions. They have learned to center themselves. And in that calm space, their insight flows even stronger. Time teaches them how to hold their mind together, how to honor the parts that feel natural, and how to work with the parts that don't. That kind of self-awareness doesn't come overnight. But when it arrives, it makes the INFJ mind nearly unshakable. Reason number 5, ageless adaptability through masking and social insight. INFJs are natural adapters. They notice how others behave, and without even trying, they often match the energy of the room. This is sometimes called masking, changing how they act to fit in. In younger years, this can feel draining or fake. But with age, INFJs learn how to use the skill more wisely. When they're young, INFJs might mask too much. They hide their true thoughts to avoid judgment. They change their tone, their interests, or even their goals just to keep others comfortable. Over time, this can lead to exhaustion, even identity loss. But with age comes perspective. INFJs begin to see the difference between blending in and disappearing. They start to understand that adapting isn't the same as hiding. It's a tool, one that, when used well, can help them connect, influence, and even protect their peace. Older INFJs learn how to read a room not just to survive, but to lead. They adjust their words and energy with purpose. They know when to soften a truth, when to hold back, and when to step forward. Their insight into people becomes sharp, autumn and nearly instant. This adaptability becomes a kind of quiet power. Others may not see it, but they feel it. The INFJ knows how to guide a conversation, how to make someone feel seen, or how to calm a tense situation, all without losing themselves. This is very different from the masking of youth. It's not about shrinking. It's about shaping. It's about knowing how to bring the right version of themselves forward in the right moment, without ever being fake. With time, this social skill becomes second nature. INFJs stop overthinking their every move. They trust their instincts. They use their empathy and pattern recognition to navigate life with grace and ease. And they do it without giving up their truth. This blend of honesty and flexibility makes older INFJs incredibly effective in all areas of life. Whether they're in a quiet room or a loud meeting, they know how to show up. And that kind of wisdom never fades. Reason number 6, evolving self-acceptance of their unique mind. One of the most powerful changes INFJs experience over time is self-acceptance. When they're young, many INFJs struggle to feel like they fit in. They think differently. They feel things more deeply. And in a world that often values loud, fast, and simple answers, their quiet depth can feel like a flaw. That early sense of being different leads many INFJs to hide their inner world. They might act more outgoing than they feel. They might agree with others just to avoid tension. They may even silence their opinions, assuming they're too strange or too intense. All of this adds up to one thing: disconnection from the self. But age has a way of clearing the fog. Over the years, INFJs start to notice a pattern. When they follow their truth, they feel stronger. When they ignore it, they feel lost. That realization pushes them towards self-acceptance. Slowly, they stop apologizing for their depth. They stop trying to shrink to fit into shallow spaces. They begin to see their intuition, empathy, and quiet thinking not as problems, but as tools. Tools that guide them, ground them, and make them who they are. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It happens through trial and error, heartbreak, discovery, and time. Older INFJs become more selective with their time, energy, and relationships. They surround themselves with people who see their depth as a strength, not a burden. They build lives that reflect their values. They don't chase validation, they live with intention. This kind of self-acceptance isn't loud. It's not about bragging or proving anything. It's about peace, about knowing who you are and trusting that it's enough. INFJs who reach this place become deeply grounded. Their energy becomes calm but powerful. The fear of being too much fades. The pressure to fit in disappears. In its place is clarity. This is who I am, and I am proud of it. And that's what makes the INFJ mind truly ageless. Because it never stops growing. It never stops learning. And with each passing year, it moves closer to truth, not the world's truth, but their own. So what makes the INFJ mind ageless? It's not that it stays the same. It's that it grows deeper, wiser, and stronger with time. Every experience adds to their insight. Every emotion teaches them something new. And every challenge brings them closer to their truth. We've looked at 6 reasons why the INFJ mind doesn't fade. It evolves. Their intuition sharpens. Their empathy deepens and tantans. Their values become clearer. They learn how to balance their mind, how to adapt without losing themselves, and how to fully accept who they are. These changes don't happen all at once, but over the years, they build a kind of quiet power that's almost impossible to shake. A strength that comes not from being loud, but from being clear. From knowing who they are and standing in it. If you're an INFJ, know this: time is not your enemy, it's your partner. It helps you grow into the person you were always meant to be. It helps you see your gifts for what they are: real, powerful, and needed. So take pride in your growth. Take pride in your depth. Because the world needs your vision, your empathy, your quiet strength. And the older you get, the more unstoppable you become.